Welcome to Greater Good Radio Hawaii, where leaders inspire leaders. Greater Good Radio Hawaii is dedicated to social entrepreneurship. I'm your host, Evan Leong, and with me is my co-host, Carrie Leong.
Today's guest is Marsha Nadalin, owner of Marsha Nadalin Salon and Spa. Marsha Nadalin brought Susan Thomas Salon in 1993 and expanded her service offering and client base through the years. Marsha Nadalin is involved in charitable projects that benefit not only the local community but other communities in times of need. Please welcome to Greater Good Radio, Marsha Nadalin. Welcome to our show, Marsha.
Thank you.
So, Marsha, you did start off as just a salon, and you've expanded your services to a spa. Could you tell us a little bit about the expansion and why you folks decided to do that?
Sure. Well, we had the salon. It was going really well, and of course, that's my passion. The spa services have become really popular, and I always thought it would be nice to kind of add to it for the client experience, that they could come to a salon and feel that they could get, the full service if they'd like. Even if they didn't, some of the clients were always talking about it. Even if they weren't going to get it, they wanted to think they could get it if they changed their mind. So the opportunity came along that the little shop next door, it was a 1-hour photo, just kind of perfect size to add a few spa services. So once they left, we took over their spot, and it connected right with the salon, so it worked out perfect.
How did you get into this beauty industry in general?
I was 7 years old when it all started. And I have a younger sister, Barbara, and she and I, were always experimenting with different things. And of course, she always looked up to me because I was, older, and she respected me, and anything I said was actually okay. So I definitely got her into a lot of trouble. But this time we were talking about her hair. And I had this, creative thing going, and I thought, I'm going to cut your hair. I'm going to make it look really good. So we went back in the back of the house, and we sat down, and I started cutting her hair, and I finished my creation. It was a little edgy, but it was cute. And we came out, and my father was watching TV, and he was the one who was to be watching us because my mom was working. So he just went, "Oh my gosh, what did you do, Marsha?" And I said, "Do you like it? Doesn't it look good?" And he goes, "Oh, I don't know, but I just don't think your mother's going to like it." And of course, my mom came home and failed to see the creative aspect of my design, and I got in big trouble. So I went on, and I thought, maybe I should put my cuts on hold for a while until I got some professional training. So I went on through life and finished high school. High school for me was very challenging because I wasn't really academic. I was a little more artistic. Loved the art classes and the sports and, anything that didn't have anything to do with sitting down and working on paper. And once I finished high school, I was, you're trying to figure out what you're going to do. I didn't really think college was going to be the right answer for me. So I was trying different things, everything, ice cream, banks, restaurants, working in all different places, but not really connecting with those either. And I wanted something that was more professional. So I went with my sister, that same one that I gave the butcher job to. And she was going for a haircut at Vidal Sassoon in Beverly Hills. So we lived in California, right? So I thought, well, I'm going to go along with her. This should be cool to see what's going on there. So it was a beautiful salon, totally high tech, very professional. The clients were all really, top of the line people. Everybody was having a great time. And it was just the coolest thing. And I just went, this is me. This is what I want to do. So I talked to one of the assistants that were working on my sister, and I asked them how they got started, and they directed me to cosmetology school, and my parents kind of got me going and helped me out. And that's how I got started.
How'd you end up in Hawaii?
Okay, so after I got my license. The school experience was a little different. It wasn't the greatest thing in the world, but I knew my goal was to get my license so I could get into a cool salon. Once I got my license, and I started working for a couple of years in Newport Beach, because that's where the area, Orange County, is where I was living. And it was excellent. It was great. I had some great opportunities. I worked with a guy that gave me, a lot of chances, and, the salon and me worked out well. But then I got a call from my girlfriend. And she and I were best friends all through high school, all through school, actually. And she was going on a trip. She was like kind of like the free-spirited person, and I was a little bit more of the, stayed by the book, got a job, did all the things that I thought I should be doing. And she was the one that was going off on all these trips all the time, and I was thinking, oh my gosh, I wish I was a little bit more like Mary sometimes. So anyway, she called me, and it was like the perfect time in my life, and she said she's going on a trip, and if I would like to go. And I said, yeah. She almost fell off the chair, I'm sure, when I said yes, because I was not like normally saying yes. So we traveled like halfway around the world. We went from California to Fiji, where we laid on the beach for a few weeks. Then we went to New Zealand, and we bought a car and traveled all over New Zealand. It was an unbelievable experience. So beautiful there. If you haven't been, you got to go. And then we went from there to Australia, where we had kind of a pre-planned job in a ski resort of all places, down the south part of New Zealand, the snowy mountains. And we worked as, waitresses and did that whole thing, and they gave us room and board. And then we traveled up through Australia, over through Indonesia, just kind of experienced all those things that you can experience there, living for like $1.50 a night, that included breakfast, bananas, and tea. And then we rented motorcycles and traveled all over, and we just had the time of our lives. Went through Singapore, Thailand, and then the last trip for me was going to be Hawaii, because my boyfriend, who I had known in California, who I left for 11 months, was moving to Hawaii to surf. So that was where I was going to end up. So I called him on Christmas Day at the airport. Come and pick me up. So that's how it all started in Hawaii.
Thanks for tuning in. Stay tuned for more on Greater Good Radio.